Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video on my channel Hairliciously. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys are updated on hair loss and hair transplant topics. Visit my website at hairliciously.com to purchase your microneedling device, which is scientifically proven to stimulate hair growth. My low-level lace therapy cap, DH debulking shampoo and serum, hair growth vitamins, and a few other products to help those who are losing hair. Now, it's been a while since I've done a video on some before and after results of people that have incorporated microneedling into their hair loss treatment regimen. So today, I'm going to share with you a few examples of people who have seen some pretty good results as a result of microneedling. As far as the regimens are concerned, I know that most people who are already using microneedling or dermaroling generally do a different combination of things that can obviously influence their results. Most combine microneedling with things like finasteride or dutasteride. I know that some people even use essential oils, Minoxidil, RU-5881. In addition to other treatments, and some use different types of dermarollers. The Derminator or the Dr Pen A6, the M8. So it can be difficult to kind of know the true influence that microneedling has, especially if you're combining everything all together. But altogether, I will say that there are a fair number of people who feel that some form of microneedling has been a real difference maker, no matter what are the types of topicals or treatments that they have incorporated. One of the more popular studies that most of you guys are aware is the one comparing minoxidil treatment versus minoxidil with microneedling. And there's already multiple studies that already confirm that using the two combinations itself has a greater synergistic effect in terms of hair regrowth. So, honestly speaking, it's really a no-brainer to really add into, microneedling into your hair loss treatment regimen if you already haven't done so. And it only requires you to do it once a week. So it's very low maintenance. And I think it's one of the best ways that has relatively no side effects other than pinpoint bleeding or redness. Now, if you're new to microneedling, you can obviously stack on treatments one by one to see what works and what doesn't work. But when it comes to treating hair loss, you want to target it through various mechanisms of action by combining treatments to have more of a synergistic effect. And this is what I would recommend. Get on a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, finasteride, dutasteride to reduce DHE levels, minoxidil to act as a growth stimulant, and microneedling to induce growth factors. So the first example I found on Reddit goes by username WBakir. And he's been using minoxidil and dermaroling for 4 months. Note that he's not on finasteride. He's also been using minoxidil 5% once or twice a day, in addition to microneedling using a dermaroller with 1 millimeter needle length once a week. Here are some before photos, and you guys can see a lot of miniaturization in the hairline and the temples, as well as the mid-scalp. His hair is very thin. Most people, I feel, tend to respond really well when they have miniaturized hairs versus someone who actually doesn't have any hair left on their scalp. And we can actually start seeing a lot of the hairs that have been revived as the months progress by. Definitely increased density in the temple region, as you guys can see here, as well as in the frontal hairline. We can slowly start to see a more defined hairline, and it's obvious that this guy is a good responder to both minoxidil and microneedling treatment. And it looks like he has been growing out his hair, but it's pretty clear that his hair has definitely thickened up, and a good portion of his miniaturized hairs have really been, just revitalized. Minoxidil, as you guys know, is known to increase thickness of the hair follicles. And towards the end of his 4-month treatment, he's actually come a really long way. He's been able to just get back so much more density all throughout the frontal portion. And I can't just believe just how thick, his hair looks. And strolling down to the comments, he does use a titanium or gold dermaroller, and he cautions others who use other types of dermarollers which actually don't come with actual individual needles and can therefore cause more damage to the scalp because the fake dermarollers are more triangular in shape. So the deeper it penetrates the scalp, the wider the wounding becomes. I actually covered this in a prior video where I basically had a few dermarollers and I cracked them open. But basically, if you want to stick with a dermaroller, if you choose to use a dermaroller over a motorized microneedling device, they have to have the 192 needles. I would avoid the one that actually has 540 needles because this is the one that actually has the fake needles and it's more triangular in shape and it's going to cause more trauma to the scalp. Now, he did give us a brief update on his 6-month progress, and he stated that he's been shedding like crazy for a month, and as a result, he unfortunately had to stop dermarolling for 2 months as he became lazy. He said he's been content with his current hair. Now, I would highly recommend that you don't stop because just like minoxidil or finasteride or any other hair loss treatment, it has to be done long term, and once you do stop, there is going to be a high possibility that you are going to lose all the regains that you got from your treatment. I see a lot of people who are in the same shoes as this guy, where you get on hair loss treatment for a few months and you see good results, and then you just decide to stop treatment because you are content with your results. But you have to realize that these results are not going to be permanent, and it has to be a lifetime commitment if you really want to, reap the benefits of hair regrowth. You can experience shedding, especially during the initial stages of microneedling due to shock. But as your scalp becomes more accustomed to microneedling, it is going to stop and regrowth is going to be more prevalent. This guy's also been using Minoxidil, which, is expected to be causing seasonal shedding. That is expected. And I think by stopping microneedling, he is really limiting the potential benefits he can see long term. Now, this next guy also posted his results on Reddit, and he goes by username Aquaxa and shares his results after being on finasteride, Minoxidil, and microneedling for 4 months. So this photo here shows some pretty aggressive hair loss to the temples and the crown area, especially for someone who is only 24 years old. This was before he incorporated his treatment. And this is also his hairline before his treatment. Pretty thin hairs on the hairline, as you guys can see. And then this is 4 months after treatment. The photo quality isn't really good, but it's clear to see that there's a lot of regrowth to the temples. There's definitely an increase in density all throughout. And then here's another aerial view of the top of the scalp. There's definitely a lot of coverage on the temples compared to what it was before as well. And also the crown area. He literally saved a few thousand grafts that would have been needed had he gone the hair transplant route to get to where he is right now. He also stated in his post that he has not experienced any side effects from finasteride, which, is to be expected because most people who are taking finasteride are not going to experience any adverse side effects. And then scrolling down to the comments, a lot of people were complaining that the lighting was bad. So he ended up posting another photo with better lighting, and you guys can just see how amazing his hair looks. It's really crazy to just kind of see how much hair he was able to regain back, and compared to what he looked before. He just basically had an unbelievable transformation. I'm very happy for this guy, and given that he responded so well at just 4 months of treatment, I expect him to see more regrowth as the months progress by. Now, this next guy on Reddit goes by username something_profane, and he shares with us his 3-month progress being on Minoxidil and microneedling only. So that, no finasteride or any other 5-alpha reductase inhibitors to lower DH levels. The photo on the left shows some pretty moderate thinning on the crown and the mid-scalp. He didn't share any photos of his hairline, but I would imagine that the frontal portion is also receding. And then the photo to the right shows some pretty good regrowth. His swirl on his crown area is back, and there's a lot of density and hair growth that has occurred enough to cover the previous bald spot that he had. This is obviously yet another fantastic result from the combination of just microneedling and Minoxidil. And this guy was lucky enough to see some pretty good results at just 3 months, because most people who are on Minoxidil and microneedling tend to take anywhere from 6 to 8 months, maybe even longer, to see the initial signs of results. And oftentimes it's not going to be as good as this guy's results. So scrolling down the comments, he mentions that he's using the Dr Pen A6 at 1.5 millimeters, which is what is recommended. And this is the same one that I've been using. He also shares his journey and his experience with hair loss at an early age since he was 22. And then he started noticing accelerated hair loss at 30. He mentioned that he tried finasteride at various doses, as low as 0.25. But he experienced intolerable side effects. And I would like to mention that Minoxidil and microneedling by itself is not going to stop hair loss. You really need to target the root cause, which is mainly due to the androgens, particularly DHT. And since he did experience side effects from, oral finasteride, if he wanted, he can also kind of look into using something like topical finasteride, topical dutasteride. They do still go systemic, but it is applied topically versus something that is ingested orally and metabolized by the liver. So he may experience fewer side effects, or if he's lucky this time, he may not even experience any adverse side effects at all. Another, alternative I can do is to take RU58841, which is a great topical anti-androgen. But nevertheless, pretty good results from somebody who is responding well to just Minoxidil and microneedling. Next up is HRisco990 from Reddit, who shares his 1-month Minoxidil and 1.5 millimeter dermal rolling results. This is what his scalp looked like before treatment. Obvious temple recession and thinning on the mid-scalp. And then 1 month later, yes, just 1 month later, we can see some pretty noticeable improvement to his hairline, which has been reestablished, and the temples have been filled in with density and hair growth. And it's just amazing because this was just 1 month of Minoxidil and dermal rolling. This guy obviously was not using finasteride, as he stated. I would really classify him as a hyper responder, given that he responded so well to just 1 month. He was just able to reverse all of that miniaturization that we previously saw. He also kept his hair comparable between the two photos with good lighting, which always helps when making comparisons. And then scrolling down the comment section, he mentions that he's also using Zix on a daily basis, which is basically a homemade topical treatment that contains zinc and B6 and either beta-sitosterol and saw palmetto and other natural ingredients. He's also taking 10 grams of glycine and 600 milligrams of ashwagandha, KSM66, vitamin B3, and nicotinic acid. I'm not really sure what the other ingredients are and haven't really heard too much of the, of the other ingredients that people have been using, but maybe it is worth checking out because he did state that he honestly believes that glycine and ashwagandha help tremendously. But regardless of what he was using, he obviously had a crazy transformation and hopefully does jump on finasteride to maintain the hairs that he has. He stated that he is afraid of potential side effects from finasteride, but he has to realize, that it's been around for decades and it's one of the best treatments that is going to slow down, further hair loss. A lot of people are just fear mongers when it comes to finasteride, and I think that he should just take it and, hopefully he doesn't experience any side effects. Now, the last example I wanted to share with you is a guy on Reddit who goes by username MushyBoy, and he shares with us his 3.5 month results from 1 milligram finasteride, Minoxidil foam 2 times a day, and 1.5 millimeter dermal rolling once a week. This is him before treatment, some steep temple recession, probably around the Norwood 3, and it also looks like his mid scalp is thinning as well. And a month and a half into his treatment, we can start seeing a lot of regrowth, filling in on the temples. This is his 2-month treatment and the hairs have grown longer and also looks a bit thicker than before. And then at 2.5 months of treatment, we can really start seeing the effects of his treatment taking place. Definitely increased density, and we can now see a very defined hairline. He literally reversed his Norwood by at least 1 whole level, and there's also a lot of density on his mid scalp. Pretty crazy, I think, for just 2.5 months. And then finally, after 3.5 months of treatment, we can see a complete reversal of hair loss. A full head of hair with absolutely no signs of male pattern baldness or thinning. And honestly, I still can't believe just how much hair he was able to get back compared to where he initially started off from. And this is all from just 3.5 months of said treatment. This is truly one of the best results, and he is a hyper responder who would have needed at least 3,000, 4,000 grafts had he gone the hair transplant route. But instead, he showed some pretty amazing response to minoxidil and finasteride and microneedling. And as you guys know, results like this are usually the exception. You typically don't see such a drastic change from mainstream hair loss treatments, let alone 3.5 months. But they do happen, and when we see results like this, it really shows the potential of how treatments work in reversing hair loss. So that's pretty much it. That wraps up this video. Hope you guys enjoy this content. I know it's been a while since I've done a video on microneedling results. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you've also had some pretty amazing results from microneedling, let me know in the comments below so that I can share the results to others if you guys do want me to share them. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Take care.